Hi guys, I'm Rex King, and happy Halloween. As you can tell, I'm in costume for this review. I thought that'd be a cool idea because I love Halloween. I love being in costume. I love the creepy movies. I love listening to a Halloween music soundtrack every year. And most importantly, I love Vincent Price movies on Halloween Day. That's right. Every year I watch Vincent Price movies on Halloween Day, and I think it's a brilliant way to celebrate Halloween. So, to better show that off, I thought every year I would review a Vincent Price horror movie. And what better way to start than House of Wax? House of Wax stars Vincent Price as Professor Jared, a wax sculptor who one day gets caught in a terrible fire that disfigures his hands and prevents him from really working the way he wants to. However, he persists and opens up a wax museum. However, in corresponding with the opening of the wax museum, several murders take place and bodies go missing from the morgue. Is Professor Jared connected? What is the secret of the House of Wax? This film was released in the 1950s and was directed by Andre de Toth. It was one of the first iterations of 3D, and most people consider it the first major motion picture studio release of 3D. Now, this is interesting because Andre de Toth was blind in one eye, so he couldn't really see the 3D, which works to the movie's benefit because it was able to focus on the story and the characters. Not only was this one of Vincent Price's first iteration into the horror genre, it revitalized his career. You see, at the time, he wasn't really being a leading man. He wasn't someone who was able to take the films he was in by storm. He was much more of a reserved character. This film would cement him as a horror icon and cement him as a great villain. Spoiler alert, by the way, but the movie's been out since the 1950s. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I will be getting into more spoilers, so uh, you've been warned. Anyway, the film also stars Phyllis Kirk, who ends up trying to figure out what's going on because one of her friends goes missing. Her friend is actually played by the actress who would go on to play the first Morticia Addams. So not only do we have one of the first iterations of Vincent Price into the horror genre, it's one of the first appearances of the actress who went on to play Morticia Addams, which is just amazing. This film has such a lasting impact. The story is really cool. It's very simple in the fact that it's uh, best way I can describe this is it's one of the early iterations of the slasher genre. It's not as brutal as some of the slashers we get today. It's much more reserved, relying more on atmosphere and makeup effects, which I think works to the film's benefit. There's a lot of good, intense scenes. Now, grant you, the horror elements aren't as scary as they would be nowadays, but I don't think it had to be. It was relying wholeheartedly on atmosphere, and that works to the film's benefit. The characters are all really well developed. We have the detectives who we follow through a lot of the film, and we have the Professor Jared, who's really well developed. We have Sue Ellen, played by Phyllis Kirk, who was really good in the film. It was really it's a really good showing of what happens when you focus on character and story instead of just the 3D effects. All the performers do a brilliant job, especially Vincent Price. No wonder why this film cemented him in the horror genre, because he just did so well in it. Now, he's not the only one who does a great job. All the actors do a fantastic job, but he's clearly the standout. The visuals are all really well. The backgrounds and the set design are perfect, um, and the like design of the House of Wax itself is really well done. Uh, yeah, this film. is really brilliant in its set design and costuming and makeup design. It's really good. However, um, I do want to touch on the 3D elements. Now, obviously, I don't have a Blu-ray 3D copy, so I didn't watch this movie in 3D. But there are two scenes that were clearly meant to be only in there for 3D. Now, I don't usually like it when films do this because I feel like it's cheap and doesn't really elevate the film any. But I can understand why they did this because it's one of the early iterations. Those scenes being a guy out front of the House of Wax doing some paddleball, trying to get people in. That actually is kind of fun and enjoyable and lightens the mood a lot. And then you have the scene where a bunch of girls are doing the can on screen, and that one you could have done without, but it's not a terrible diversion from the story. Now, this film's actually a remake of the 1933 Mystery of the Wax Museum. My copy actually comes with both films. It's one of those double-sided DVDs back when they were doing that. Mystery is fine. It focuses more on a different angle with a newspaper editor trying to solve the mystery, whereas House of Wax just focuses on the characters within the mystery. And I really enjoyed that element more than Mysteries of the Wax Museum's newspaper element. So I do feel like House of Wax is the superior film. But if you're interested in watching Mystery of the Wax Museum, definitely check it out. It's not bad either. But back to House of Wax, I think this film is a great staple of classic horror. If you have not seen House of Wax, definitely check it out. I absolutely enjoy this film, and I absolutely enjoyed that it revitalized Vincent Price's career to give us what we got later down the line. I give the film an 8 out of 10. Well, that was my horror specials for these 2 months. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I had a lot of fun doing these horror movies, and I'm looking forward to doing this every year with you guys. Now, next week, we go back to normal movies with the Maltese Falcon. I'll see you then.